Well, I've got back to Chris's, and what a fantastic change in his garage. I know there's a lot of stuff in here, but look guys, compared to the last few videos, we can see the floor and we can see Chris, and look, the Norton is there and there's work being done to it, proper work. I'm genuinely impressed.
Well, thank you.
So what are you doing? Because we know the engine size, we did that in a previous video. I can see bits of casing here, my friend.
Yeah. Well, obviously you still have the wet sumping problem, and to cure that there's three options. There's return valve, so like a valve that opens up when the pump spins around, it opens the valve up and lets oil go through. There's a tap, which is great as long as you remember to turn it on when you start the bike, or you can go down the expensive route and then get a modified pump to go in the timing in the casing.
And is that what you're doing here?
God no. God no. This.
Now I know nothing about these bikes, so if that isn't what you're doing here, what are you doing here?
This is another oil leak. After I put all this back together and got the best clutch this thing's ever had, I went to take it over and oil started dripping off everywhere around the side. And I think, well, where the hell's that coming from? Because where it's dripping, there's no pipe. So I thought, right, okay, and I couldn't see anything, even with the endoscope, couldn't see it with that. So I actually stripped it all down again to see where it's coming from. And if you look down here, there is a pipe. That's a breather. Now, some clever pods obviously put a bit of pipe on there to drip it into the chain. So when you do get a bit of pressure in the crankcase, it filters off here, drops on the chain. Unfortunately, because I've got such a serious wet sumping problem, it's dripping rather a lot. So I have to sort out the wet sumping to stop that from leaking. Obviously taking this all apart is create more leaks, so I've had to order all the gaskets and bits and bobs and try and get it all back together. Yeah, so I've got to the point where I've actually taken it apart again.
And somewhere in this, aren't you doing a clutch, or is that done?
The clutch is all sorted. I've got the plates are still good. They've still got loads of meat on them.
Good.
So I'm going to replace it all back together, get it all done, get the clutch sorted. I may have to replace the cable because that's probably never going to replace. I've got loads of shiny bits from Andover Norton. They sent me a load of goodies. So I've got new gaskets, and new bolts, and new bits and bobs. And then hopefully I can actually put it all back together. But that's just that side to be done. I've still got to sort out the wet sumping. And I don't know how to get around that.
Now tell me then, Chris, because I'm confused with readers' comments because I don't know about this bike. What carbs do you have on this? No, I don't. Let's leave that alone.
I just
then.
know they're twin.
Because you got two carbs, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is obviously why they've said it was a 600, not a 650. And now we know it's a 600, so the logbook needs to be changed. Which is obviously when you go to order parts as well, you've got to then look at a 600, not 650. Yeah, it's just... I literally went to take it back to Dad, and it just poured oil out, and it wouldn't start. And that's when I had to strip it all down again to see where the oil's coming from. Now I know it's a breather. There is another option. I can then run a pipe through here, up, round, and back into the oil tank.
Yeah.
Apparently that's a modification you can do, providing you've got a later type tank.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it. To be honest, if I sort out the wet sumping, I won't need to do that.
No, that's true. So this is, yeah.
Yeah, so I've got to get all this back together. Hopefully I've got a new chain as well, because the chain was a bit too tight. I am toying with the idea of actually putting a tap in.
So really, in my absence, you've made some real proper decent progress.
I've tied it up.
Oh, it's such a difference, Chris. I don't know where you put it all. We don't want to know. But honestly, it's a magnificent change.
It is, and you can actually almost see the gold ring.
I was sort of skulking around that, but you're right. We can actually now get to the gold wing.
Yeah, well once this thing's gone.
But I see there are some sneaky bits of gold wing up here.
Up there.
So it does live, doesn't it, in essence?
It does in bits, yeah.
I'll see you later.
Yeah, have a cup of tea.